Alright, hello everyone, Simon here. Let us continue playing a little bit more Shadowrun Dragonfall. So what exactly does Dragonfall refer to? Are the dragons gonna fall from the sky? Are we gonna take down Lothweir, the dragon? Anyway, we'll find out. We just arrived at the Krauts Bazaar. Bazaar is market, right? What is Krauts? Krauts Bazaar. Anyway, we're in a tunnel, we're not in the bazaar yet. Our safe house is somewhere around here. We have to make it through the tunnel to get there. Oh, is it? Well, that was an adventure. Alright, so you get off the road, you go through some tunnels, and then you arrive... Is this the bar? You step inside, and the squalor of the disused U-Bahn tunnel gives way to the warmth of your safe house. A man waits inside, silhouetted against the dim fluorescent lighting. I mean, the warmth. And then there's the dim fluorescent lighting. I don't know if... Is it supposed to be homely, or is it supposed to be dim? Also, what is that? It's like a pile of trash is sitting there. No one's done the dishes. Are you seeing this? In the corner here? Nobody's doing dishes. Is that a rubbish bin on the table? Is this a safe house or is this a dump? What's going on here? The rug is curling. Paul Amsel, something bad has happened, hasn't it? Well, you'll notice we're one short. He steps forward, revealing a pale and expressionless face. Light glinting off of steel-rimmed glasses, Paul Amsel, your team's fixer and landlord. Part deal maker, part information broker, one of the most well-connected men in Berlin. Yeah, but he's pale and he sits in a cave. Like he sits in this little basement. His eyes sweep across the team as he takes it all in. The grim faces, the hard stares, Iga's fury, Monica's absence. I had a feeling. How did she... His face has gone ashen. He swallows. Takes a moment to chew on the words before spitting them out. How did it happen? Decking 2, something in the vault security system cooked her brain. It was too quick to be black, I see. Something in the vault security system got her while she was checked in. It was over in an instant. The run was a setup. 1 minute she was cracking the safe, the next she was on the ground screaming. Alright, let me like use my decking knowledge. It was too quick to be black, I see. So how did she die? Like how did she die so quickly? No, there must have been an enemy hacker in there with her, waiting for her. Glory nods, her motions robotic and spare. Monica died of a biofeedback-induced stroke. That's right. Iga thrust a gloved finger into your chest, and this idiot stood by and let it happen. I think we all stood by and let it happen. I mean, yes. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I was there and it happened. But the other two were also here and it happened. So I'm not gonna take the whole blame. I'm just saying, like, everybody was standing around and it happened. Brush your finger aside, that's bullshit, Iga. You weren't even in the room. Yeah, no, you weren't even in the room. Unless she was the one who was in there and killed her. Shoved her hand away, poke me again, I dare you. No, let's not. Let's not dare the troll to poke you again. She's literally a troll. She's massive. Ignore it. Let it happen. She jacked in, she screamed and she seized. By the time we saw she was in trouble, it was already too late. That's bullshit, Iga. You weren't even in the room. Yeah, no, let's attack her. Because this is like we're making excuses for us. It's like, oh well, it was over before we even knew what was happening. But no, you weren't in the room. How do you know what happened? No, I wasn't there, and that's exactly the problem. If I had been in your place, Monica would still be alive and with us. Instead, I left her with you, and now my friend has a corpse in the basement. No, Iga. If you were with her, she would have died anyway. And then you'd have no one to blame. That would be worse for you. See, now you can blame me, and that makes you feel better. But if you were there, you'd have no one to blame. So, you should count that as a blessing, Iga. That you can blame me. Look, Iger, SCKC is right. You weren't stuck in that basement with us. You don't know how things went down in there. So do us all a favor and shut it down, okay? Thanks, Dietrich. Shut it down, fuck that. Iger turns to face Dietrich. She towers over him, but he stands his ground. I respect you, Dietrich, you know that. But you don't have my training, not if you have. Yeah, and? Okay, what would you have done? Monica was good, she was the best, right? But she was also overconfident. She treated the job like it was a game. Do that long enough and you're gonna get burned. Yeah, so if you knew that, why are you blaming me? If you knew that she was if you're gonna stand here and say that she was overconfident and eventually she'll get herself killed, why are you then blaming me for her getting killed? If you're gonna say that it was her overconfidence that got her killed. Can you get this straight? Iger turns her focus back to you. If you'd been paying attention, you'd have figured all of this out on your own by now. You'd known that Monica needed watching as much as that door. No, she was the team leader. We're not gonna baby the team. We're Shadowrunners. We're not here to babysit each other, Iger. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Or sometimes you're just unlucky. I mean, maybe you're good enough, but you're unlucky. You know, like bullets start flying, you get shot in the head. Things happen. Enough, Iger. Amsel's voice is hoarse, his expression blank. Enough. Iger pushes ahead, heedless of the interruption. Her voice remains measured, but there's fire in her eyes. How many seconds passed between Monica's first convulsion and her plug getting pulled? 4? 5? Do you know how much damage biofeedback can do to a decker's brain in 5 seconds? Yes, I do actually. And what? Iger, I don't. How dare you look this won't. I mean, they're all the same. You don't have to answer that, of course you know. Monica died and while you stood there and watched, this is all your... I wasn't watching, I was doing stuff. We were all doing stuff while she died. We were all trying to save her when she died. That is enough. Amsel's voice comes out in a roar, his fist smashes down on the desk behind him. Iger, you and SCKC can have it out later, but I've had enough. Alright. More angry yelling. We need to talk action. Our client sent you into something much bigger than he led us to believe. I want to know why. Well, you're the information broker, Paul. Right there with you. This was supposed to be a book run. Well, you were duped, Paul. Payback isn't the only reason why we need to find him. We saw something back there, something that we weren't supposed to see. It's fair to assume that we're all still in danger. What do we see, Glory? Wait, what do we see? We saw a big troll with a minigun. What else did we see in there? He pauses, rubs his temples. Agreed, and to neutralize that danger we need to know who we're dealing with. Let us review the events that transpired tonight. The smallest detail could be important, so hold nothing back, alright? The estate was just the front for whatever was going on in the basement. Let's start with the basics. Amsel nods, that much is clear. It wasn't a minor enterprise either, that facility took serious funds to build. Yeah, because there was like an antique castle, like there's an old castle, and they built a basement under the castle. Right? Without the castle falling down, like you dig out a giant hole under the castle, and the castle is still intact. And presumably it was a secret basement that nobody knew about. How do you dig a hole, like there's a castle, you dig a hole under it, this thing doesn't fall down and nobody notices all the dirt coming out because it's a secret basement. How does nobody know you built a giant basement underneath there? And time, there was more to it than we saw. Places like that don't spring up overnight, yeah. And all in secret. The owners, whoever they may be, were none too pleased by your escape, I'm sure. What else did you find? After everything went to hell, we were confronted by an orc in military-grade armor. He appeared to be the head of security. That is not much to go on. I mean, he was big, and he had a minigun. Do any details about this orc come to mind? Any distinguishing features that I could look into? Oh, his face was like melted, and scar tissue. He was an older guy for one. From the sound of his voice, I'm guessing mid to late 40s, pretty old for an orc. And he had skin grafts. Most of his face looked like replacement material. If the grafts came from a legitimate hospital, there may be medical records. Alright. That is something. I will see what I can find out. Did you note anything else during the run that may be of value? Monica lived long enough to say a name. Feuerschwinger. She fought hard to tell us. It must be important. Amsel seems taken aback. He pauses for a moment before responding. The Firewing. This is unexpected. You have to forgive me. This brings back many unpleasant memories. Oh, you have enemies out there, Paul? And now your enemies are coming for us? Glory raises an eyebrow to Firewing. The most terrible of the great dragons. There are those who would disagree, but they never experienced the terror of living in her shadow. Wait a minute. Just how big are the dragons? And like, how much power do they have? He glances at Glory. You're far too young to remember her, of course, but for Germans of my generation, the name Feuerschwinger is synonymous with chaos, destruction, and death. Cool. Chaos. The dragons of today are subtle creatures, full of patience and guile. Feuerschwinger was not. After her awakening, she went on a 4-month rampage that claimed tens of thousands of lives. She's not here for your intrigue, she's here for your lives. You know... I mean, okay, she murdered tens of thousands of people. But on the other hand, she's not lying to you. She's not trying to manipulate you or anything. She's quite honest. I appreciate honesty. Amsel takes a deep breath, slowly releases it. There is a haunted look in his eyes. Those were dark days. Countless men, women and children were slaughtered, roasted alive in their homes by a creature of legend. No hope for salvation and no end in sight. It was a horror that you cannot begin to understand. So, like... do guns not work on dragons? Like, do tanks and missiles and fighter aircraft not work on dragons? Like, how do dragons work in this game? Because like Shadowrun, it seems quite human. Like the scale and the stories and the, you know, and like the setting seems like the fact that there's giant dragons flying around roasting people, roasting tens of thousands of people, doesn't seem to fit the setting. What stopped her? I can't imagine that a rampaging dragon would just go away on its own. I guess the other dragons stopped her. Eventually, the Firewing was brought down by a man named Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Well, with the help of the Luftwaffe, of course. Oh, okay, so there you go. Jet aircraft do work on dragons. But it was experimental weapons designed by Dr. Vauclair that finally pierced her hide. She fell in a hail of bullets and rocket fire and crashed down in the radioactive wasteland of the Sox. But she's not dead. She didn't die, did she? The event was called the Dragonfall. Okay. Alright. But she's not dead. Safe at last from the dragon's wrath, Germany celebrated Vauclair as a hero, our own Siegfried, a modern-day dragon slayer. My own family practically worshipped the man. Right. If the Dragonfall was as important an event as you make it out to be, I'm surprised that I've never heard of it. Maybe you should read more books, Iger. Those early years of the awakening were traumatic, Iger. Not just on a national level, but on a global scale. New species of awakened animals were being discovered daily. Within 2 years of the Dragonfall, the active use of magic had returned to the world. A new source of terror for a bewildered public. And in 2021, hey, that was last year, the sudden emergence of orcs and trolls gave rise to yet another wave of global pandemic. Orcs and trolls in 2020. That's... You know what, let's stay away from real-world politics. I'm just not gonna, you know... Let's not talk about any orcs and trolls in the real world right now. In light of such turmoil, is it any surprise that Dr. Vauclair and the Firewing were forgotten? Dragons were yesterday's news. Well, I don't know. Like, for example, World War II happened, but that didn't make us forget World War One. Now, you see what I mean? Like, World War II was more terrible than World War One, but we still remember World War One. I don't feel like this is a plausible explanation. I mean, yes, orcs and trolls and magic is significant, but also the dragon, I think, would have left a... like, it would left a mark on history, in the history books, as well. I don't see why you would forget the dragons, just because they were magic and orcs and trolls. He rubs his temples. Again, all of this happened decades ago. To the best of my knowledge, the story of Fürschwinger is a bit of historical trivia and nothing more. Yeah, that doesn't sound plausible. This seems like a bad story writing. How would you forget a giant freaking dragon that literally burned people alive? Alright, so Monica spent her dying breath trying to tell us about a long dead dragon. No, clearly the dragon's not dead, Iga. If the dragon's dead, we wouldn't be in this trouble. Iga sweeps her eyes across the group, searching for a glimmer of insight. Finally she gives up. Any ideas as to why? Obviously, either the dragon is not dead, or somebody's trying to bring the dragon back to life. Amsel's voice trembled with frustration. No, it doesn't make any more sense to me than it does to you. The Dragonfall is ancient history. Fürschwinger has been dead and gone for 42 years. But there's one thing I do know. Whatever Monica saw, whatever she was trying to tell us, it was important. Oh, she was scared too. Remember before she died? Like, she was terrified. And then she told us Fürschwinger. He visibly struggles to calm himself, takes a deep breath, then slowly releases it. I will look into this and I will find answers. In the meantime, did you turn up anything of value? Didn't we get some data from the side room? That's all we've got. That's not much. Yeah, no, Iga, that's not much. We lost a person and we didn't get anything. Amsel nods. His face is drawn and haggard. It is thin, I agree. A basement, a middle-aged orc with skin grafts, and a long-forgotten world event. Wait, we're still missing something. Who paid for this run? You haven't said anything about our client yet, Paul. You're holding out on us? Yeah, let's not accuse people with no evidence. Whoever sent us knew we were walking into. We were set up. Whoever sent us knew what we were walking into. We were set up. I mean, we were set up, but that's not necessarily true that they knew what we were going into. It could be that they were using us to find out what's there, right? So it's, I mean, let's not jump to conclusions. Alright, who paid for the run? Amsel looks pained. I do not know his exact identity. I did not set up the run. Monica did. Oh, real? Monica set up the run? You are our fixer? And you don't know? This team seems very badly managed. Like the management in this team seems extremely poor. And Iga's right. I'm not surprised Monica eventually died. If this is the quality of the management in this enterprise. And like, you know, Shadowrunning is not a game. People die. You know, well, I mean, we're playing a video game. But, you know, in the story, Shadowrunning is not a game. People die. His face reddens. I warned her. I told her not to take the job, but she assured me that it would be a cakewalk. Alright, well, I'm not gonna blame you for her death then. We're just gonna blame her for being overconfident. Monica was approached recently by a man who calls himself Green Winters. It's not even a real name! It's not, of course, it's not. He used to be a prominent activist in the F-State political scene. The Free State? Which is the Free State again? I forgot which one it was. I never much liked the man, and I certainly never trusted him. Green Winters, a prominent activist in the F-State political scene. By Monica, she would do anything for her cause. Anything for the Flux State, or the Flux State. He sighs. Winters swore that the data he was after was crucial to ensuring the future stability of the Flux. Wait a minute. Is the Flux State supposed to be stable? I mean, he didn't lie. I mean, if there's a fire dragon coming back to life, that would be important to the stability of the flux state. I mean, he didn't lie about that. That was all it took. We need to track down Monica's client and press him for information. It sounds like Green Winters is our best lead then. Yeah, it's our lead. Yes, most definitely. It's clear that Green Winters has involved us in something much larger than he led Monica to believe. When he finds out what happened on the run, he's probably gonna wrap it. We need to chase him down before that happens. So we need information on Green Winters and we need it fast. There is a man here in the Krauts Bazaar, a Turk named Buragazi. He owns a little soy calf shop just down the way called Cafe Sevi. That's Turkish, right? Jezve? I can't do Turkish, but Turkish is not Jezve. This man is also a purveyor of information. I've done business with him from time to time. And you think he would know something about Green Winters? Amsel nods. When I discovered Monica's renewed association with Green Winters, I contacted Altag. One of his people has been keeping tabs on Winters ever since. Oh, handy. As I said, I did not trust the man. For good reason, it would seem. I'll talk to Altag and see what he knows about Green Winters. Pragmatic sounds like time to pay Altag a visit. Best to be cautious in the line of work. Should I go meet with Altag then? Well, yeah, no, should I? Yes, tell them I sent you. I will do what I can to dig into the information that you've uncovered already, sparse though it may be. Okay. We're talking to a Turk. We gain 5 karma. Let me save. Oh, the game saved itself as well. Can I save again? I did save again. I can talk to Paul. Hey, where'd my teammates go? They just wandered off. Amsel peers at you apprehensively. His eyes are bloodshot, his expression grim. Did you get the information from Green Winters? No. Then please continue working. We need to find that man. Alright. I mean, I was just here. Can I zoom in? Let's examine this room. If I can I? Like, how do I zoom in and look at the furniture? So we come in through a ladder. This is the main entrance. There's a broken table. Nobody's done the dishes. There's a bottle of glowing green liquid. Right, whatever that is. I'm surprised that this plant is still alive. It's underground, there's no sun, and this environment is terrifying. Like, look at that stuff on top of the shelf. This thing is rusted. The stove is rusted, looks like it's been burned. The fridge is kind of rusted too. We have a kind of beat up table. There's a computer on it. The rug is old. The rubbish bin is on the coffee table. The chairs are okay. I guess the chairs get used quite often. The TV seems fine. And there's a dog. This dog looks kind of terrifying, actually. Like a dog with big jaws. They're gonna do damage when they bite you. Their clothes are just out in the open, and then there's like a bike. All right. A glowing rope is interesting. The beds are unmade. This looks like it's gonna fall down at any moment. There's a bunk bed there. This bunk bed looks. I mean, I wouldn't sleep on the bottom bunk, is what I mean. It looks like this thing's gonna collapse at any moment. This bunk bed looks a little bit sturdier. That's good. The chair is a little bit ripped up, and there's like graffiti on the side. Is that right? There's graffiti on the chair. What the hell? This is our safe house? It's a dump.